Hey, good morning, guys. Can you see me? I think we're good. I think we're live. All right, so I'm going to give just a couple of seconds to see all the little eye and all that kind of stuff come on. So I hope you guys are having a fabulous Monday. I know that it's almost like an oxymoron. We come off of Father's Day. Yesterday was so sweet. I hope it was sweet for you guys. I know there's so many mixed emotions with Father's Day, especially if we don't have our daddies still here. But it was a very sweet day, and I hope y'all were able to celebrate the fathers in your life. So, you know, I'm excited. I always love days like today because they're launching new products that we have, and I am a vintage junkie. Could I say that? That didn't have a real positive connotation. I'm a vintage junkie, meaning I love things that have a very vintage feel to it. They feel aged. It looks so good on so many things. And I am really proud of the stencil that we're launching today. It is absolutely exquisite, exquisite. So let me tell you about it. It's a mushroom stencil. I'm gonna hold it up. I want to be able to see. I've got all these things I want to walk you through. So this is the stencil. Can you see? Look at it. It's a mushroom study. Now, in the 18th and 19th centuries, as they were discovering all these different species, whether it was flowers or birds or fungi or whatever it was, they would create these beautiful hand illustrations and they would document them with words as far as where they found it, what the coloring was on it, all of those things. And so that is very much on trend right now. So if you don't know, um, if I know a lot of times it's like I'll think, okay, well, I love these things. And it was actually an idea that I had that I wanted to be able to do mushrooms. And somebody in our staff said, mushrooms are really on trend. Like fungi is everywhere. And so I thought, well, great. But whether it is or not, it's something that I have always loved. So one, you'll have something that's very much on trend that you can use for, oh, I can see people's comments. Hey, Julie. Hey, Audrey. Hey, guys. As you pop on here, say, hey, tell me where you're tuning in from. And happy Monday to you. And I am curious. I mean, we're in the middle of June. Tell me what the weather is like in your neck of the woods. It is blazing hot here. At least we have sunshine, no rain. But I'm curious where you're tuning in from. Say hey. And here's the deal. I always love to do this on the lives. If you share this video, tag some friends that you know that you love to craft together. They love crafting a beautiful life. Hey, Bella Bug. Bella Bug's watching. Um, that you know that would love this. Share it. And guess what? Sharing is caring. If you share this video, your name goes in for a drawing and we're going to announce the winner on Friday. And that way I'm going to send you the stencil absolutely free to the winner and I'm going to pay to ship it to you. But I want to go over today. We're going to call this a mini workshop. I want to revisit some things. I want to tell you what it is that we're working on, some new things, and then I'm going to take you through some projects working with this gorgeous mushroom or fungi stencil. So can you see that? Look at the detail in this. If you're not familiar with our stencils, they're a mesh material that allow you to be able to get an incredible, like, hold on, look at this. Look at this right here. Look at the detail that you can get from that. Incredible detail and words that it's not at all like something that you can get with a Cricut. You cannot get this look, and it allows you to be able to create incredible detail. Let me show you. So I want to walk you through before I show you some of the projects today as far as how to use it. But I want to show you what I've done in working with this particular stencil. You can use them over and over and over again. They have an adhesive to them, so you can pull this away as the stencil, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. You can pull it off from the backing, and I'm also going to show you how to be able to wash it and use it on all these different surfaces. So one of the things that I want to show you here, as far as the products that we have an ink. A lot of you are like, yes, Amy, I've used that before. But those of you that are going to be watching this later, I just want to go over it with them. We have an ink. We have a brand new formula, yay, in our ceramic paint. We have a brand new fabulous formula in our ceramic paint. We have chalk art, and then we've got etching cream. So I want to show you, as far as working with the inks, you can use the inks on fabrics. You can use it on tea towels. You can use it on napkins. And here is I need to get my camera right. Look at this. This is an IKEA tea towel that I was able to use our brand new fungi stencil with. Look at that. Is that not fab? This goes perfect in my kitchen. I don't know about y'all, but it can be used on so many other things, but I just love what I've done with using it on my my tea towels and my napkins, and they're absolutely adorable. They're so chic. Fungi is so in, but also you can create some beautiful art with it. Um, I'm going to show you that in just a second. So with the ink, you can use it on fabric. One thing you need to do, I'm going to be doing it on a tote bag, but after you do it on your fabric, if it's something that you want to be able to wash, you need to make sure that you heat it first with an iron. So after I've done it, after I've actually done it on my fabric, I'm going to put another piece of fabric or tea towel on top of this, and I'm going to heat set it, no steam. I want to make sure that I heat set the ink into my fabric so that way it's going to wear easier. The other thing is when I get ready to wash it, if it's a t-shirt, if it's something that I can turn inside out, I am going to turn it inside out before I wash it, and I'm going to keep it out of the dryer. That's going to allow the inks to be able to set into the fibers, and it's going to be able to look a lot fresher and a lot prettier for a long time. This would make a great gift. You can get tea towels. Um, I buy all my napkins at estate sales or tag sales, just because they're so inexpensive there. But I can get tea towels like this for about $1, and that way it really allows me to customize it and make it really, really cute. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you, hold on, but I do want to walk through this. The other thing that you can use the ink on is paper. Look at this. Look. I don't know. Have y'all looked at the prices of cards lately? They are upwards of $8 for a card. We actually sell this card stock on a Maker Studio with the envelopes that you can create. Look at this. Is this the cutest card ever? Now, if you love to color, as far as doing art and watercolor, you can come back, and I plan on doing this. I'll show you in just a second. You can thin down our inks, and you can actually watercolor the fungi. Look at that. See why I love that stencil so much? Look at the detail just underneath that mushroom. Is that not amazing? Look at that. It's so classic, so elegant, so vintage. I just think it feels amazing. And also the composition, when you're doing a card, don't think that you just have to do one. And don't think that all of it has to show up. Look how compositionally, how I cut off this big guy here, but it works weight-wise. And even this guy right here, look how it's not all on there. I just love the composition, and it makes it look, I think, that much more upscale. So the ink can be used on fabric, tea towels, tote bags. If you want to make you a bag, every Saturday when Jean and I go to the farmer's market, we have two big tote bags. And that's what I put all my vegetables and my groceries in. I don't use paper or plastic anymore. I have tote bags, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing to one today. But the ink can be used on paper as well as the stencil. It comes off very easily. And yes, Gretchen, totally, totally would be so cute on a canvas bag. I'm doing it. And you can, yes, Brooke, you can watercolor the tote bag. So cute. All right, so I wanted you to see this. Now, something else, I told you that we have a brand new formula in our ceramic paint. So, if you've never used our ceramic paint before, I want to show you what you can do. Look at this. Look, is that the cutest? So think about your platters. Think about, look at my picture. Look at this. I was so excited doing this picture. Is this the cutest thing? Look. I even came back in, I watercolored some of it, but I love the detail on this. It is so fab. And to be able to use the ceramic, what I want you to do is you're going to use this one. When I did this project, I actually used the dark chocolate latte. Let me show you the dark chocolate latte. And you want to be able, once you've done it with the stencil, you're going to wash it out. I'm going to show you how to wash it out today. You're going to put it on a cookie sheet. So just get a regular cookie sheet like this. And whatever it is that you have that's ceramic, if you want to be able to do your candle containers, if you want to be able to do plates or platters, just put it on your cookie sheet like this. Put it in your oven at 325. Now, you want to bake it for 35 minutes and then turn the oven off after 35 minutes and let it cool down naturally. That's very, very important. Now, as a rule, when I have custom pieces that I have done with art like this, I will hand wash them and then that way put them up and dry them. The detergent in the dishwasher is very, very hard on them. So kind of treat this like you would some beautiful china. But do you not think that's the most darling thing? So again, put it on a baking sheet. Make sure you've turned your oven on 325. Bake it for 35 minutes. Turn the oven off and then let it cool down naturally. Don't take it out of the oven. It needs that gradual heat to be able to go down, and then that way it is going to adhere. The longer it dries, the better off you're going to be. All right, so put that over there. And I did the same thing with my pitcher. This is my water pitcher. And I just think it went from kind of boring to fabulous. Now it really feels like a very custom, chic looking pitcher that you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else. And that's the other thing I think I love about working with the stencils, being able, whether it's the ceramic, the paint, the etching cream, and then I'm going to show you, I like using chalk art. Chalk art is great for paper. It's great for chalk boards, but you can also use it on charcuterie boards. I don't know if you see all of my boards behind me. I use charcuterie boards all the time for everything, not just for cheese and crackers. If I am creating a buffet, I grab my charcuterie boards. But a lot of times, if I'm entertaining, I can use my chalk art and do a design on there. And people think I just spent all this time and all this energy, and it took me 5 minutes to do it. And so I keep these in my DIY pantry. That way I can pull them out and do all kinds of projects. So I wanted you to see what I did with the ceramic paint. Now, I've got a tote bag. Wouldn't you know, I just talked about it was a pretty day. The skies just literally dropped out. I am curious, tell me what the weather is like in your neck of the woods. So before I go to my tote bag, I want to show you something else. Now, here was part of the inspiration. Can you see this? Look. This is a study of fungi, and this is actually a poster from the 18th century. This was part of the inspiration for this gorgeous vintage fungi study that we did. And the cool thing about it is, what I want you to see, all the different mushrooms are different colors. So you can definitely go in, whether it's for a piece of art, that you could do one little mushroom on a small, maybe a 5x7 sheet of paper. And you could even use alcohol inks if you wanted to, and then frame them and do maybe a study of 6 or 8 different mushrooms. Darling, 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 darling. So I like doing studies to where I'm hanging either 6 or 9 and have them all together. They have a lot more impact. But this particular stencil and the ability to be able to do individual mushrooms and have the writing next to them and hand color them would be beautiful as far as artwork. So I know that I have a lot of artists that watch and tune in, and that would love to be able to create a piece of art with the stencil. So I want to show you what I've got laying here. Oh, last but not least, you can also use my etching cream with glass. Now, if you've never done this, guess what? Has anybody ever eaten this yogurt? When I want a treat and Jean's going to be going and getting ice cream at Kilwin's, I'm like, I think I'm okay. I've got my yogurt. Like, this is very, very special to me. And it allows me, I soaked the stickers off, and that way I can come back and I can use my ceramic paint or my etching cream and make little hold on, I'm having difficulty with this camera, and make little votive candle holders. So I'll pop a little votive down in there, or I could even pour it up with some of my beeswax and put some citronella oil in it. And that way I've got candles outside on my table. All right, so now I want to be able to show you. I'm going to turn this down. As you pop on here, please say hey. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Don't forget to share this video, tag some good friends that left a crafty, beautiful life, and your name will go in for a drawing. And we'll be announcing the drawing on Friday. And then that way your name, if you're chosen as the winner, we're going to ship it to you absolutely free. So all you have to do is share the video. All right, so I'm going to turn this down. I think I can go over this side and get it to where you can see. Awesome. I've got two little cameras going here, so that way I can make sure that you see what I'm doing. And I'm going to be working on a tote bag. So if I'm working on fabric, these are great for the farmer's market. The mushroom, who knows? People may see you and go, where in the world did you get that? That's the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's about customizing it, making it special. Here, as far as like, you see the back of my picture, that's great, but it's boring. How much more fun this is to be able to see the detail on it. I've got to finish it. Same thing with this tote bag. It's kind of boring, but it can be so much more chic. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on and take my mushroom stencil. Now, I could do a couple of things. I could choose my favorites and definitely put those on there. I like the composition because this is a study, and if you'll see them a lot of times, and this would be one single artwork piece, it would be great. You could do individual mushrooms, or you can do the whole thing. And trying to think, as far as the size of this, is this do you know, as far as how wide this is? I'm going to get a tape measure. Somebody from the office, can you let us know what is the width of this stencil that we're working with today? The width and the length. So I love it because it's so big. And I'm going to go on and remove the back from it. Now, I suggest keep the back because it's a great way to store it. And you'll see how I can pull it apart. This is the adhesive side, of course. All right, so I'm going to measure this real quick. So it's 12 by 18. So this is a 12 by 18 stencil that as one piece of art. You could go get some foam core at an art center where you are and put the whole thing on the foam core. They'll cut it for you. And then that way, come back, do your black ink, and then go in and hand color them. Would be absolutely fabulous. All right, so now I'm going to go on and pull the stencil away. So now that way, you're going to be able to make all kinds of ceramic pieces that are gorgeous. You're going to be able to make some cards. You're going to be able to create some art studies. All right, so now look what I'm doing. I am working on my composition. I want to make sure that, and it's okay to cut off some of the larger ones because I've got a panel right here that I'm wanting to make sure that I go down in. So I'm just going to get that down into that edge. And then you want to press your stencil in because the beauty of it is that it is adhesive and it's going to hold it in place so it's not going to move around on you. That's going to make it a lot easier to be able to work with. All right, so now probably I'll push that in there just a little bit. All right, so now as far as the product that I need to use for this, I need to work with my ink. The same way as I did on my card, I used the ink, as well as working with my tea towels. Now, I did this in a brown ink. I actually used, I think the Creek Don't Rise on this. I used my brown ink when I was doing these mushrooms. And then I used the black ink. You can kind of see the difference on my card. So I'm going to go on and using a squeegee, I'm going to take my black ink. This has kind of a color, a grayish color tonality to it. And I think the black would just be prettier. So now I'm going to, on the back of the squeegee, you'll see it's completely flat. That's what I'm going to put first. and I can turn it to where I've got the beveled side when I get ready. So I'm just going to come up here and holding it in place, I'm going to come into that edge just a little bit. And I am pressing it through with a considerable amount of pressure. The other thing is, once I get started, I've got to work fairly quickly because I don't want the ink to set in here. All right, so I just want to be able to see where I'm going. That way you can kind of start to see. Let's add just a little bit more. Sometimes, depending on the surface that I'm working on, I'll hold it to where it's a little bit more taut. And here's the great thing about working with the spreader. It allows you to be able to really get at that 45-degree angle and get your ink down in there and press it. So as you're working with the stencil, it will fill up. Let me get this up here so that way you can see it. It will fill up to where you're not going to see the white. Hold on, let me get my camera. Can you see? All right, so I want to make sure that I'm getting this flat. And I can start to pull that away so I can see the detail. I want to keep it in place. I don't want to mess it up. Can you see that? Look at that. Look at the that is what is so gorgeous to me, to be able to see the kind of detail that I can get from my stencils. All right, so now I'm going to put this aside because I'm going to continue to work on it after. Jean, do you want, well, no, I can't give you my spreader. Okay, I'm gonna pass that off to the side. Now, I'm going to go on. The other thing I want you to remember is all of the inks and the ceramic paint are going to be hand washable. So I can just get some water and clean my hands off and I'm good. All right, so now I want to show you something that I do that's a lot of fun. I have, when I say I'm a charcuterie board hoarder, I'm a charcuterie board hoarder. I love being able to do specialty things to my charcuterie boards. All right, so now I wanted to show you, this is one that I have used over and over and over. I've done a lot of projects with it and it's still very adhesive. So I'm just gonna take the back off and I'm gonna put it on my board. And the great thing about it is the chalk art is food safe. You can set cookies or crackers or cheese or whatever on top of this that you want to be able to do. And you can do a combo if you want to be able to create gradations of color. I'm just going to be working with the Slow as Molasses chalk art. So the chalk art can be used on chalkboards. It can also be used on paper, but I like working with it also on the wood. And part of the reason why is because when my guests have gone home, when I'm cleaning up at the end of the night, the chalk art will wash out of the wood. So you can even paint this with the black one step if you want, which the one step will act as a chalk board, but this is perfectly safe to be able to use on top of wood. I've done it all the time. All right, so now I'm just going to remove a little bit from the container, and I'm going to do just enough to kind of give you an idea. Actually wished. So I am pushing this through. You want to make sure that it doesn't set in and dry. So a lot of times what I'll do is as I'm working on it, I'll start to lift my stencil up like this. Look at that. Look at that. Is that the cutest thing? All right, so now hold on. So I'll go on and I'll press it in. If you get it outside of the line, so to speak, don't worry about it. It'll wash right off. And again, I can put my food on top of this And then that way, when my guests have gone home, I just put it under the sink and I put some soap and water on it and I'm perfectly okay. But I love that this has kind of a food theme with it because it is a fungi, but also it's just a great piece of art as well. So I'm going to do just enough here so that way I can pull this back and you can see it. Would you wash that out for me? Awesome. Thank you. So I need to be able to work on more of it. So I don't want to mess it up, but I want you to see. Look at this. Look. What a great gift this would make. Do y'all just love that? Isn't that beautiful? Also, now, if you are doing it in the chalk art, let's say if you want to be able to keep this, a lot of people are like, Amy, I love that. I don't want to wash it off at the end. I want to be able to use it all the time. Well, then you can let it dry and then come back and seal it. You need to work with a food safe sealer and then just seal it. That way it could become permanent. I guess for me, I just love the fact that I can do so many different looks, whether it's Easter, it's Christmas, whatever, or it's summer, if I want to be able to change out what it is that I'm doing on my charcuterie boards. But so I just wanted you to see the detail of it, and I love the brown. So as far as the color that I was using on this particular board, this is the Slow as Molasses chalk art. It's just a really pretty brown. I don't know that I would like the black as well if I was working on the wood for my charcuterie boards. All right, so I wanted to show you that. Now, the other thing, I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull this up and I want to show you, a lot of people are kind of worried about how do I clean a stencil? So this is the stencil that I just did with my chalk art. I'm going to immerse the entire stencil down into the water. And again, this is food safe. It's water based. It's very safe for you on your hands. It's not gonna dry them out. It's not gonna hurt them. And so as I just stick this down in the water, sometimes I'll have like a little sponge and it'll come right out of the stencil. Then you want to be able to have it to where you're going to take it out of the water and you're going to lay it down on your counter, adhesive side up, and let it air dry. Don't put it on a paper towel. Don't have it to where you're patting the back of it with the paper towel, because that is going to make it to where the fibers from the paper towel are going to actually get into it. Now, here's our fear. A lot of times we're like, I'm just going to go in and pat it. I don't do that as a rule, because this paper towel or even just a cotton rag is going to have fibers in it that's going to get down into this adhesion right here. And I want that to stay that way. So once I've cleaned it off, and even if there's still water and little driplets on it, I'm going to lay it down on my counter in my kitchen, just like this, and until it's completely dry, and then put it back on the backing and put it in my bag until I need it for another project. So this is one that I had just cleaned earlier. So I showed you how to do it on fabric. You're going to use the ink. Now, I want to show you on the paper when you are working with this, how you can kind of come in and color it. So let's do that real quick. I think I really want to encourage some of you to create some pieces of art with this. I think it would be really pretty. I want to wash my hands real quick and get some of this off. Hold on just a second. Guys, as you pop on here, please tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you've never tuned in before, my name is Amy Howard, and I am I'm the mother maker here at a maker studio. And I will tell you, it is a situation where I love making things with my hands. If I can make something with my hands that I can use or that I can give as a gift, that makes my life that much happier. I just enjoy being able to give something that's special. And I think a lot of people are at a point, they have so much when they know that somebody has taken the time to do something or make something for someone, they feel very special. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to be able to take the ink. Are you doing black or you're doing black? Okay. All right, so let me see what I've got here. I think this is a little brown. So I'm going to put a little brown ink in here. I'm going to go in and get another cup. Now I get these little plastic cups off of Amazon, and it allows me to be able to work on a project, put my water in or whatever, and then I throw it away. So I'm going to add just a little bit of water to this. I want to thin it down. So what happens, the ink can become watercolor. So now watch this. So I'm going to get that to, this is something that you just have to kind of play with. The other thing is you can also use a plate, which I may get a plate and show you how to do that too. Could I have a white plate out of the drawer? So I wanted you to kind of see the consistency of it. And let's use a plate. Again, I'm working with the ink, so I'm not worried about it sticking. I can just wash this off. So this kind of acts as a palette, and it allows me to see kind of what the color looks like. So I can take a little bit more of this out. I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of white. Again, you can go into gorgeous oranges, yellows, all these pretty colors that these mushrooms are in. If you didn't see it earlier, I was showing this vintage picture of a study from the 18th century, which we got some of the inspiration from on this particular vintage study. It's a scientific study on mushrooms and fungi, and that's part of the reason why it has all the beautiful lettering and everything on it. So you can come back and watercolor these. So what I like doing if I'm doing art or if I'm doing it on paper, or if you even want to be able to do it on ceramic, you can do the same concept as far as watercoloring. All right, so I'm going to clean my brush out real quick. Here, what's so funny? I also use these in my pantry. I'll tell Jean, I'm like, please don't throw those away, because those little wee containers are great for my art projects. All right, so now I can even come back and I can make one a little bit darker. Take a little black and add it there. Doesn't take much. But basically, I want to be able to get some variations of color. You know, and it makes it a lot of fun when you can create really pretty pieces of art like this that they've known. I would really suggest getting a very thin ink pen, but more of kind of a flare. Do y'all know the kind I'm talking about? And sign your name at the bottom. I want them to know you did this. It's just a great, project. But I think there's something very special in the fact that you made it for them. I think that makes it a lot of fun. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of come in again, make sure that once you lay down the black ink, that it's cured. Give it about 20 minutes to dry. Let me get this down just a little bit more closer. That way you can kind of see. So I'm going to come in here. I'm not concerned about where it's black. I'm only really where this negative space is. Let me see, get that off of there. And it is good to work with an artist brush. We have, I really would prefer that you work with a sable. Get this thing over here. I'm gonna cut it with scissors. It's a good thing I've got my glasses on. I can see. All right. So I'm gonna load him back up. I just want it sheer. I want to make sure that I have thinned this to where it's nice and thin. See, I can kind of see what that will look like. I'll brush that on there. That's why I like using a plate. And I'm going to come back in here and add just a little bit of detail. So I'm staying in the white area. This is so much like coloring. All right, so now can you see how I'm going into this other area that's got some negative space? I don't have to go over the black as much. Can you guys see that? Do I need to go down just a little bit more? Let's see. Can you see that? See how I've come in here and just kind of brushed it? The other thing is I like keeping it kind of sheer and modeled. I think it's pretty. I think it makes it look very vintage. Good job, Jean Howard. Jean Howard's over here doing stuff. All right, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of this lighter brown, and I'm going to come on top of where I laid in my ink. I don't want my card to be the color of the mushroom. And if I want, I can kind of gradate it. This is so easy. When I know a lot of people, they're funny. When they see me grab the art brush, they go, Amy, I can't paint. Don't ask me to do that. I just want you to know this is like coloring. Look at that. Now, I don't have it here. It's at my studio. But heaven help me, I want to come in and do this kind of an ochre color. Would that not be the cutest? I'd love to even take these into a green. So you could have red, you could have ochre, you could have a really pretty green color and make it really look like vintage mushrooms. So, so cute. All right, so I'm going to clean my brush out a little bit. And I've got my other brown. This, I'm just telling you, we need some Yo-Yo Ma music on and just really enjoy this on a rainy day. I can't imagine anything more fun. Look at that. See how it just looks like watercolor. The black is already there that we laid down. It's nice and dry. And we're just doing this washing effect, which if I wanted to take it out of the category of being monochromatic, I could really add some color. And you could go and get some acrylic frames and frame these studies. Just do one mushroom at a time. Get 6 or 9 of them together. It would be absolutely beautiful. So that way you can see, as far as the variations of what it is that I'm working on, this color, you want it a little bit different. You don't want to do them all the same. And then this one. So I just think it's absolutely yummy. You can do this on fabric too. I can come in here. I can come in with my fabric and do the same thing, because why? I'm working with the inks. So if I want to be able to take a little bit of my brown ink, just add a little bit of water. Now the paper, when I'm working on paper and I'm coloring it, it doesn't take quite as much as if I'm going to be working with the fabric, but I can come in here and wash it. You can see through it a little bit. It just gives it that much more detail. It's kind of a dry brushing effect, but it fills that in. I'm not worried about covering up the red, but it makes it look kind of washy. Imagine if I was doing this too with kind of an ochre color. Or red or green, and I want to be able to add some color. It gives you the idea. You can still do this on fabric. All right. The other thing is too, if you want to be able to come back with your ceramic, you can also thin the ceramic paint. Again, we have a brand new formula. You can thin the ceramic paint and do the same thing. You can come in and you can kind of do a hand coloring process like this. But again, you need to switch over from the ink and do it in thin ceramic paint. And I think it would be fun to focus if you're going to do it on plates. I love these plates. I'll show you. They have these plates at Target. And I think because they're earthy, they're real unbalanced. They're kind of odd. They look handmade. They look great as far as creating the mushrooms and doing it in browns and blacks, and maybe white. And then that way you could do a different mushroom on every plate or every bowl. Just make sure if you're just now popping on and you are hearing me as I'm going over this, we have a new formula in our ceramic paint, but when you are doing it, this is some that I actually was doing the washing effect that I'm showing you in the ceramic. Make sure that you bake this at 325 for 35 minutes and then put it on your baking sheet. Allow it to cook for 35 minutes, then turn off the oven and let it cool down. That way, we're going to hand wash it after that, but it's going to give you such a great look and a more permanent ceramic piece. It's going to make it a lot of fun. So hopefully, if I can get this to work. Uh-oh, I just turned them off. Hold on. Uh-oh, are y'all there? I'm so sorry. Okay, all right, sounds good. So isn't that fun? I I am totally in love. I think, of course, I'm geared more towards vintage style stencils. I think this is one of the best ones we've ever done. So if you love stenciling, if you love the ease that it gives you, if you're a furniture painter, this would be fabulous on a piece of furniture. Oh my word. Oh my word. It would be so fab. You can use ink on the one step. If you want to be able to create this design on some drawers, on the side of the drawers, even on the front, it would be beautiful. Oh, thank you, Helen. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Irene. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm excited about this new stencil launch. I wanted to kind of give you a little mini workshop on how to use it and how to work with it. And now I will say this, and I know you're like, she says that all the time. I don't. We only have a very few of these. It was important for me to be able to have a lot of different designs, and we just can't have a whole lot of inventory on them. We're going to sell out. This is, if you're even artistic or you love doing furniture, this is perfect. If you're a crafter and you love doing really great looking vintage things, this is perfect. So grab it. Don't wait. Thank you. Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. Bye.